We absolutely love working with kids as well and having them come through here, because then we get to hope that maybe someday one of these kids will go, gosh, maybe I'll be an astronomer, or maybe I'll grow up and become an engineer and help us out and help us do the next big discovery. I'm a staff scientist here at Green Bank, so that means that I get to do a whole bunch of different things. I get to work with the observers that come to use the telescope, and so I get to help them try to get their science off the telescope and go from, things up in the sky to data on a paper that they get to share with other people. The type of research I do is I look at what we call low surface brightness galaxies. These are other galaxies out there in the universe that are very, very diffuse. For whatever reason, their stars and their gas are just spread out much more so than many other galaxies. And what's curious about these objects is the fact that they have lots of gas. So why does that matter? Well, gas is the stuff that turns into stars. So I study a type of galaxy because of this very unusual property of it. And then I try to use those to understand things like the Milky Way itself and the star formation in our own galaxy. As an astronomer, I'd like to go out, I like to do science, I like to learn about science, it's a ton of fun. But honestly, if I'm not also able to share that science with other people, then I'm really just kind of doing it for myself. We think what we do is pretty cool, so we want the general public to think that too. And we absolutely love working with kids as well and having them come through here, because then we get to hope that maybe someday one of these kids will go, gosh, maybe I'll be an astronomer, or maybe I'll grow up and become an engineer and help us out and help us do the next big discovery. Anybody in the world can apply to use the telescope here, and the way we work is through what we call peer-reviewed proposals. It doesn't matter who you are. If you've got a really cool science idea that you can tell other scientists and convince them that it's really cool, you're going to get time on our telescope. So I have the privilege of being in the group of staff scientists who go through all of the proposals that we see. There's always a couple proposals every semester, every 6 months when we review these, where we look at that and we all just go, now that's a neat proposal. And we get really excited about it. So we get all sorts of different kinds of proposals covering just huge types of science areas. That's part of why it's so fun to work here. We get science doing things like looking at black holes, where we're actually using not just the GBT, but a bunch of telescopes around the world to try to peer into the edges of black holes and try to study them. We get really neat proposals to look at chemistry in the universe. And so the GBT gets used to go and look for really complex molecules, the stuff you need to create life. And the GBT happens to be the best telescope in the world to go look for these things. So math is kind of the underpinning, you can think of it, for all of the science that we do. It's cool to get data from the telescope, but the really cool part is to try to say, what does this data mean? And the only way to understand that is to really look at the physics or the chemistry behind what you saw. And to understand the physics and chemistry, you really have to understand the math that sits behind it. I love working at a telescope. It's fun to be part of the discoveries. It's fun to get to see what's going on and hear what's going on from the different scientists. It's fun to have the scientists here because you get to hear their excitement about what they're doing, and it's just an incredible amount of fun to just see the really good science coming out of the telescope here, and also getting to know you helped out with it, and that's a nice feeling.
Let us know what you thought of this video down in the comments section, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like and a share, and follow STEM in 30 on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to the National Air and Space Museum's YouTube channel.